Hey everybody, it's Luke over at Galaxy Tech Review, and today I've got a product from OLALA. This is their 256GB Fingerprint Encrypted USB drive. You can pick this up on Amazon at the time of this review for $159, and I'll have that link in the description below where you guys can check it out. We're going to get into this right now, so hang tight, and I'll be right back. So here we've got the OLALA 256GB Fingerprint Encryption USB drive. This is a USB 3.0 drive, again, that you can pick up on Amazon at the time of this review for $159. I'll have that link in the description below. I'll also have a link to OLALA and their homepage where you can check out all the products that they have available as well. Thank you for OLALA for sending this over for a review. So let's take a look at some of the specifications or features on the back here. Obviously, it's got a built-in fingerprint encryption technology. Much like your phone, it's USB 3.0 for data transfer, retractable design, and it does have an all-aluminum housing on it. The model number on it is FD01. Interface is USB 3.0. The dimensions are 64.8 by 20.5 by 9.5 millimeters, and it only weighs 15 grams. So overall, this is a drive that you'll be able to use on any Windows machine, 7, 8, or 10. The management software does not work on Mac, just to note, but the drive itself will, of course, work. So let's take a look at the build quality of the drive itself. This is a very attractive drive, in my opinion. It has a nice aluminum shell on it that will definitely protect it from drops and scratches and stuff like that. OLALA logo is there, laser etched on the front of it. You do have a spot for a lanyard if you want to carry it on your key ring or something like that. But overall, it's got a very nice feel to it with that aluminum shell. On the front here, you're going to see that USB 3.0 connection for data transfer, so expect 3.0 speeds, which I'll go over in a second. There is a little pinhole here that has a light on it. So what will happen is if you want to know whether your secured partition is active or not, that red light will be on when it's active and off when it is not. So when it's locked, that light will be out, and then when it is on, then you know that you have access to your secured partition. They did a good job on the fingerprint reader as well. I had no problems with that fingerprint reader registering my fingerprints and then accessing well under a second. So they did a pretty good job on overall design on this particular unit. It's pretty durable, very light and compact, and you get 256 gigabytes of storage. So let's take a look at the software that you get and how to set this drive up on your Windows PC. If we look in File Explorer here, when the drive is plugged in, you're going to see two different things. You're going to see a CD drive, and this is the drive itself that has the actual setup program on it, and then you're going to see a open partition, which is your F drive on my PC, particular PC. That is your public partition here, as you'll see. So the public partition right now comes up as nothing because I wiped everything to start over again so I could kind of show you guys how this works. Now you've got your install program here. This is that program that comes built in to the drive, so they don't have to ship you anything or anything like that. You just launch it, and when it pops up, it will give us a few different things that we can check out here. You can tell that your zone is locked or unlocked and whether you're connected or not, and it will ask you for your fingerprint. Now I've already set my fingerprint up on this, but I'll show you guys how to do it as well. I've got a couple fingerprints set up on here, and this is very, very simple. To add a fingerprint, you are just going to click the Add Fingerprint button, and then much like, again, your phones of today, you're going to put your finger down, and then when it tells you, lift it up, and then you will do this several times so that it gets an idea of your fingerprint, and I would suggest doing multiple fingerprints And then once you're done, it will say registered here in just a second. And it's a very quick process. Overall, the fingerprint sensor on this is very decent. Now I've got 3 fingerprints registered on this, so we're good to go, I think, at this point. Now, if we go to setup, there's a few different things that we can take a look at. We can take a look at language, password, partition, and delete user. If we look at our password, when you first run the software, it'll ask you to set up a master password. So this is where you can go into either change that password or delete it, which we'll go into in just a second as well. Languages, they've got a few different languages set up on this. I'm going to leave mine on English, of course. Delete user, this is where you can go in and start all over fresh. If you want to delete your current user, say you're giving this away to somebody, or let them borrow it, or giving it to a friend or something like that, you can delete your user. So here is our partition, and this is where it gets interesting. Right now, my partition is set because I kind of wiped it to show you guys what the difference is. You've got a slider on the left-hand side that says public and secured or security, and you can slide that down and make the secured part really low, 2,400 megabytes, all the way up to the max, which is about 240 gigabytes out of that 256. You do lose some in formatting. We're going to put it about halfway so that we have about 120 gigabytes for our secured partition and about 115 or so for our public, which is fine and will work and no problem for me. Now you can set that to different sizes, which is awesome. And as you notice, once it's done partitioning, your public drive pops up automatically. So now it's saying that it's done, and you have to unplug the disk and plug it back in because it is now done formatting. So we're going to plug it back in. Now this is our P1A or public, and you can see that that comes up. So now we've got one that is public, and you can see here that we've got about 115 gigabytes here as we set it on our particular setup there that we just did. So we're going to put a folder in here called public. So we've got a public folder in here now. Now if I use my fingerprint and I unlock the drive, the light will turn red, and now we've got S1A, which is secured 1A, and we can take a look at that. So we'll take a look at S1A and the properties on that. We've got our other half of our drive, or roughly the other half of our drive, which is our secured side. Now, why would you want a secured drive? This is for something like, if we make a folder called tax documents. Say I need to take tax documents over to my accountant or something like that, and I lose the drive and I don't want people to have access to my tax documents. So now we've got this where I can just push the fingerprint and it will disappear and it no longer shows up. I have no access to it. It is encrypted and doesn't even show up when you plug the drive in. So overall, very, very easy to use, very, very simple to set up. Again, I've got my public when I just plug it in, nothing there for that private. That secured drive is definitely not there. Even if you unplug it and plug it into another PC, I will push the fingerprint on there and S1A does come up, and there is my tax documents folder, and it is totally accessible. So by unplugging the drive, of course you lock it, but you can actively unlock it and lock it with your fingerprint while it's plugged in. So overall, very, very easy setup, very, very simple to do and get set up, and works very well. Okay, so now the last thing I want to do is use a crystal disk mark on this so that we can see how fast the transfer speeds are. We're going to select disk F, which is our public partition, and we're going to run a quick test just to give you guys an idea, not fast forward this so that you don't have to watch the entire thing. Okay, so we're back with our results, and as you can see, these are typical USB 3.0 speeds. I had this in a USB 3.0 port. We're getting read speeds about 130 to 140 megabytes per second with write speeds right at that 60 megabytes per second mark, and this is typical of USB 3.0. Nothing stellar or over the moon, but not slow either. So these are, in my opinion, solid speeds for the drive. I think OLALA did a good job all around with this drive, and we're going to take it to the end of the. So overall, that was my review of the OLALA 256GB Fingerprint Encrypted USB 3.0 flash drive. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I think OLALA did a great job overall on design. The button itself for the fingerprint reader is very responsive, and the USB 3.0 speeds are right on par with the USB 3.0. This was Luke from Galaxy Tech Review. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out and leave those below. Remember to like, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so because that always helps me out, and I'll check you guys out on the next video.
Oh, sunny day.